So today, instead of doing just like a normal video like what I've been doing like the last couple weeks, I decided I'd tell you guys a story. And this story is how I made eye contact with the boys from One Direction. Yay! If you've been a teenage girl, or you don't even have to be a teenage girl, if you have lived at all the last like 2-3 years, you would have known about the band One Direction. I don't know if they're a band, they don't play instruments. This boy group, singing group, One Direction, right? This is the story of how I made eye contact with them. It's pretty spectacular. Best day of my life. I loved it a lot. It was pretty great. So it all started when I had begged my parents to drive me 4.5 hours to go see them in concert. I'd like saved up enough money. I think that my ticket was like $160, so it wasn't cheap for, I think I was like 16? It must have been, I was 16. Yeah, I was 16, so that was a lot of money for a 16-year-old with no job. So I had saved from like allowances, but I finally got to go and I convinced them to drive me and my sister 4.5 hours away to get to this concert. So we get there. Now it's just me and my sister and my mom and my dad. And we're like kind of walking around Minneapolis or whatever, you know, because we hadn't checked into a hotel yet because it wasn't time. But you could like, there was hype. Like you could tell there was something in the air. There was a bunch of teenage girls around with like homemade t-shirts, and their hair was all done nice, and it was chaos everywhere you went. We were walking and all of a sudden like we see outside the venue a tour bus. So we're just like, oh my god, it's a tour bus. They're probably in there. And I was like, oh my god, that's them. They're in there. Like I was thinking like, you know how easy it would be to kidnap them? That'd be pretty easy. So we went down there and there was like a crowd of girls around obviously, and so I couldn't see anything. But I got like really close and I'm like up to the bus, and there were like ropes things like around it, so you couldn't like get in there, but you could see, like you could go and touch the bus if you wanted to. But there was like a bunch of girls, and I'd finally like squirmed my way through to the front. And I was waiting there like 10-15 minutes and nothing happened, so I'm just like, oh, screw this. And I'm like, no one's in there, but everyone's just like, yeah, someone's in there. And I'm just like, no, there's not. And as soon as I start walking away, there's screams, and I'm just like, oh my god, I missed it. Turns out, I like quickly looked back around, and I could see like curly blonde hair. It wasn't One Direction, but it was 5 Seconds of Summer. It was Ashton, and I saw the top of his head, and so that was pretty great. And so then I'm just like, oh wow, that was so great. Wow, I missed it. I hate myself. But anyway, so I got over that, and I went back upstairs to like a building across the street, and the building had like windowed walls, so you could see down. So I was up there. I don't know what I was doing up there. But then I looked down and I saw Callum, and he was like really tall, and like I remember him being tall and lanky, and he was just like dressed all in black. He looked like kind of like a Grim Reaper or like Slender Man, and he was just walking, and I saw him, and he was like really awkward about it, and I was like, oh my god, that was Callum. And like there were people next to me when I saw Callum, and they were just like, oh my god, she's such a freak. And I was like, oh my god. That was my experience with 5 Seconds of Summer. So then after all this happened, we were walking back to our hotel, and we were like walking through like a corporate building or whatever, because there's like a bunch of skyways and stuff that are all interconnected to get to one place. So we were walking through this, and there was a whole bunch of like Target employees, because like the venue that the boys were playing at or performing at, whatever, is called the Target Center. So a bunch of Target employees were just walking in One Direction. So they were walking in One Direction, and my dad kind of like talked to one, and he's just like, hey, yeah, are the boys playing? Like, are you gonna go see them? And they're just like, yeah, they're playing like a mini concert for all the Target employees. And so my dad's just like, okay, cool. So we go back to our hotel, and our hotel is like across the street from this venue that these boys are playing for like the Target employees at. So we can see like a parking ramp, like, I mean, it's all like walled, but there's a parking ramp like right across the street from where our room window was. And so my dad's just like, yeah, I bet the boys are gonna come out of there. Like, there's only one way in and one way out of that parking ramp. They're not gonna go through like the main entrance. Like, they have cars, they have to get around. So I'm just like, Dad, what are you saying? And he goes, I'm saying you should go down there and wait for them to come out of the parking ramp. And like as soon as he was saying that, like a bunch of girls kind of just like sat themselves on like the sidewalk away from the parking ramp door. And I was like, oh my god. Oh lord. Okay. So I was like I brushed my hair and I like composed myself and I looked. So then I went downstairs with my sister and as we were going down the stairs, there was these two girls who I had saw when we met, or not when we met, when I saw like 5 Seconds of Summer, and they were from like North Dakota or something, I don't know, Iowa, South Dakota, I don't know. And they were in like yellow t-shirts, I remember. And so we saw them, they were staying at the same hotel we were, and I saw them, and I don't know how this came to be, but eventually I like talked to them and I told them that I thought that One Direction would be coming out of this parking ramp. And they're just like, oh, okay, we'll come, we'll go, we'll sit. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Me and my sister, we hightailed it over to this parking ramp and we sat on the curb. And as soon as we were sitting on the curb, like a bunch of other girls, there was probably like 15 of us, we were all just like waiting around and stuff. And there was a security guard standing outside of like this parking ramp door, and my dad tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't say anything, so we're just like, wow, okay, whatever. So we know you're hiding something. So we waited and we waited, and I could see like my mom and dad from the hotel room. And so these two girls in these yellow shirts were just like, okay, now everyone, if they do come, if we do see them, don't cry, don't freak out, act completely normal, because then they will love us. She didn't say that, but that's like what she was saying. And so she's just like, okay, everyone act normal. And so all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, and the 15 of us girls all started like screaming at the top of our lungs. And there they were. There was like 2 police officers and like a motorcycles, and then 2 SUVs, and the boys were split up between 2 SUVs. I still remember it. I think it was probably the greatest day of my life, even though I'm like not into One Direction anymore, but it was still like a good day. So they were driving out of their SUVs, or driving out of the parking ramp in their SUVs, and there were sirens and girls screaming, and the 2 yellow girls who were just like, oh, okay, everyone be calm, were like crying. There was tears streaming down their face, and there was just like, it was crazy. I couldn't handle myself and I was freaking out. The more important thing is Niall Horan, he waved at me. I could see him through the car window and he waved at me, he looked at me. You know, he was probably looking at all the other girls, but really, he was looking at me. Like, let's be real here. Like I don't know. Oh, I got a text from the one. I mean, but yeah, no, he waved at me. And then like I saw Harry, and I think he had like a bandana on or something, and I saw Louis was there. I don't know if I saw Liam or Zayn, I don't remember that, but mainly I saw Niall and he waved at me, and I have a picture and it's really super blurry and you can't really see it, but you can see it, like I saw it better in person, but you can just see like it was when Niall, it was like frat boy Niall, if any of you know what I'm talking about. It was frat boy Niall. And so he had like the tank top on, you could see his arm, and oh, it was great. So that was the greatest day of my life. And then eventually I met up with my friend and we went to the One Direction concert, and we screamed so loud our voices were gone for like 4 days. But it was pretty amazing experience. I'm kind of sad that they're done now, but like I'm glad that like I guess everyone's kind of like moving on into their own direction, if you know what I mean. So like, I don't know. It was good when it was good. Like I'm glad. But that was like a really big part of my life, was One Direction. I could go on for hours about this, but I'm not going to. So hope you enjoyed that story. If you did, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Yeah, if you do subscribe, I have new videos like at least once a week. I don't have a set date because I'm disorganized and I'm busy all the time, so I never know when I'm going to be doing something. But if you subscribe to me, you'll know when I do upload the video, so you should probably do that. I will see you guys next time. Bye.